y'all, what's up? It's those wrestling girls. It's your girl, Krista B.
And Queen PR.
And we are here to let you know to tune into Old Face Wrestling because they're one of the best podcasts out. And we follow them, so you should too. So subscribe, hit that button, and listen for the latest in wrestling news. Later.
Hey, this is Sophia Lopez from Women of Wrestling, and you are watching Old Face Wrestling.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to O Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today I am joined by Sophia Lopez from Women of Wrestling. So Sophia, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. But you forgot one thing, JT, to introduce me as the greatest attorney in the world.
Yes, I did forget that. Yes, the greatest attorney in the whole world, Sophia Lopez.
Indeed. Yes.
So Sophia, tell us a little bit about your role in WOW right now.
Well, it's very interesting because you told me before when we talked that you just got into WOW. So I'm gonna repeat a little bit of how I get, I was introduced to WOW. So all those fans that are watching for first time and have an idea of what's going on. So I went, David McLean is the creator of WOW. And he joined forces with Selena Majors, and she's a trainer. And then they've been living this dream like forever. And they've been like together, and they are always looking for the next wow superhero, the next talent, the next girl that is gonna be part of the family. So they are hosting meetings, and I went to one of their meetings, and I didn't know it was about wrestling. So I show up, and they start like telling us everything, like, oh yeah, wrestling and these moves and the ring. And I was like, oh, great, thank you. And at the end, I said, well, thank you, David, thank you, Selena, but I'm gonna pass. Like, I'm gonna, no, thank you. And then they say, why not? And Selena looked at me at the eyes and say, why not? And I said, because I don't wanna get hurt. Like this is a big deal. It's like, I mean, some people, they think, nah, it's not as real as, it looks, but it is. Like I was watching those trainings and I saw that girls, bumping and getting hurt and some broken elbows. I was like, no, I don't want to get hurt. And Selena looked at me and said, I'm going to train you so you won't get hurt. And they said, give it a try. So that's how I was, okay, I'm going to do it because I'm not a quitter. I'm not, I don't give up easily. Like and I always love superheroes. I always love superheroes in the movies. So I thought, I need to do this. So I started going to the trainings, and the training facility was in downtown LA at the Millennium Hotel. And I remember I show up and I was going there like very nervous. And I ended up being like thinking, tomorrow I'm not coming back. Like I'm gonna die in this ring. I was like very dramatic, like I'm gonna die, so I'm not coming back. I'm just not gonna tell anyone, and I'm gonna disappear. But after that training, it was so much adrenaline. I mean, wrestling for real. I love wrestling. Like now, it's like a passion, and when you train for it, it's like you become an addict. It's like a drug that you cannot get like rid of so easily. And everything was hurting me, like from this hair to my toenail, everything was like I had like bruises all over for the training. And I kept going. The next day I just show up, and same thing, I was very scared, and I show up and I said the same thing, like tomorrow I'm not coming back. And I kept going and I kept going, and it was 1 month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, and then all of a sudden they said, we're gonna have our first live show in Vegas. And this is always happen. Like first you have nothing, and then you have a lot of offers. At the time, I got a lot of offers to shoot some commercials, to host some TV shows. So I was getting busy and busier, and I was going to training, but I wasn't as often because the commercial is gonna be in Chicago. So I went to Chicago. Like we're gonna do this, out of town. So when I came back, I saw that girls and they were flying from the third rope and things like that. And then I felt so behind that I thought, no one is gonna train me. Like Selena is not gonna stop for me. So I was like, rethinking again, like, should I do this or not? Like, this is a lot. And one day I realized I was looking at the story of Cage Heat, which it was like Loca and Delta, and I realized they were in jail and all these things. And I thought, you know what? I can be the manager. Actually, I can be the voice of the wrestlers because they go by themselves. They give a great show. They do amazing moves. They train. They do, but after the show, it's kind of awkward because then you have like the amazing character and then the fans want to get closer and ask for a picture and and ask for an autograph, and then they feel shy, the both both sides, like it's not like, look, I was going to be like, hey, who wants to have a picture with me, come here, or like the fans maybe, oh, should I ask or should I not? And then I came out and I was like, hey, who wants a picture with my client? Please come over. Like, let's have a picture with my client, an autograph. What do you need? And I just introduced them. So that's how I got into this idea of the manager.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked David and Selena, I said, guys, I don't feel like 100% ready to fight. But how about if I start with a manager and then later on, maybe the manager surprise everyone, takes that suit out and then I can fight anyone in the ring. So then they said, oh, that sounds great. And that's how I started.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, I know as far as like being a wrestler, like I know it's very brutal on the body.
It is.
Like I've heard stories, I've seen documentaries, and it is tough. Like I've seen some real like badasses go in there and they just cannot do it. Like it is rough. Like I think it's even worse than like, football and all when it comes to the toll on the body. Just like all the different things, and you have to really like stay in shape. And even staying in shape, it's really hard. Like I just know it really just takes a toll on you, not just physically but also mentally.
Yes, I mean, my respect for the wrestlers. Like the good thing of me being trained before becoming the manager is that I understand them 100%, and I
Mm-hmm.
have so much respect for the wrestlers, for the ring, for the whole thing. I mean, I'm the number one fan, and I admire them because, as you said, it's mentally, physically, spiritually, and at the time I had my baby, I had my son, and then my daughter. So I felt very vulnerable. Like if something happened to me, who's gonna change the diaper? Or like, I was like, I can't afford an injury. So a lot of the wrestlers, they have a lot of sacrifices. They make a lot of sacrifices, putting their own lives aside for just having the wrestling life. And that's my respect.
Exactly. Like I have so much respect, for these wrestlers too. And it really upsets me when when I meet someone who's not a wrestling fan and they kind of like look down and say, oh, it's fake and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, like it's not. Like they work so hard. They go through all this stuff, all the traveling, the time, like you said, the time away from the family, all that kind of stuff, especially when you're like just starting out. Cause I know a lot of wrestlers who are just starting out, they're also not really making a lot of money too. Like, it takes time to really like kind of like build your reputation up and stuff like that to actually like really start to see like more money and all that kind of stuff. So so like you mentioned, you told us how you got into the manager role and all that kind of stuff. In your opinion, like how important is it for a wrestler to have a manager? Because me, I'm old school. I love having wrestlers having managers, from Paul Heyman, Paul Bear, stuff like that. Like I love managers, and it's nice to still see it. It does not often anymore, honestly. But like, how do you feel like how important it is for a wrestler to have a manager?
I think it's very important. As you said, I'm also like very old school, and I love, that now we live in a world that everything goes so fast. And at the same time, it feels like everything is about me, 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 me. So some people, they might think, oh, including a manager, it might take out of my spotlight or something like that. So they want to do everything themselves. But having a manager, as I said, makes everything easier and gives you a story to tell, someone to be there
Mm-hmm.
for you, someone to defend you. And that's what wow, we've been doing with wow, telling stories, more about the story, like why are you fighting? Like why is your purpose? Like I just show up and okay, let's do it, like here and now. It's more like okay, let's building until you get at that point and you have a purpose. And that's why, like, our fans like that we are telling a little bit of the stories and it's going over there and having the manager. I call myself like the mastermind. So I can, fight with my brain. And for me, it's very important because I show fans that they can physically not do it, because for any reason they don't like to exercise or whatever, or any reason, you can also fight with your mind, with like these strategies and these like mean plans, having allies, having, betrayals, having your client, having many fun stuff. And I think gives a different flavor. And for me, it was great because when I became Sophia Lopez and people saw me and started like, oh, Sophia Lopez. A lot of girls approached me and said, I want to be a manager. Like I got inspired by you, and they felt like I can do it because they thought the only way to be in the business is doing the wrestling. But I don't want to do the wrestling for any reasons, even like me, like getting hurt or whatever, or having family. It's like, but I don't want to do the manager. And I felt so cool. I was like, it's like great. I'm inspiring people, and they still feel like we have an opportunity. And one of my clients right now is Serpentine, and we have very good chemistry. And I love it because, as I said, I go and I bring the fans and I make things easier for everyone out there. So it's great because you save time, everyone gets what they want. And I even sometimes I'm paying the price, but I'm willing to do it for my clients.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like you said, like some people, like it's about me, me, me. Like I feel like a manager can really help take someone to the next level, depending on their like talent. Because some people they're really good in the ring, but not everyone is a good promo. So having that mouthpiece, like you got the wrestler, then you got the mouthpiece. To me, that creates a duo, and that can really help, both parties, in my opinion, and all. And so, like managers are extremely, extremely important, in my opinion. Just as long as they're utilized with, the right person. So you said right now you're aligned with Serpentine. What about your alliance with Tesla right now?
That alliance, it's fun. I love it. I cannot say much because right now we're airing the episodes, but it's so much fun because for real, how can I say this? Well, Tessa is great, you know what I mean? And at the beginning, people, they asked me, like, would you like to have Tessa as a client? And then I thought, yeah, of course. But then I thought, no, she's too rebel. She's not manageable. So then I thought, no, forget about Tessa. But now that we're having this alliance, it's super cool and I love it. And we're full of surprises, not only in this season, but next season you guys have to watch. I cannot tell you much. But I thought she's a very tough cookie. But now we've been having like all these amazing, how can I say, master plans. I'm just thinking of them make me laugh. I feel like so evil, but we have things under our sleeves that, as I said, I cannot reveal. But it's fun also because at the same time, I know they can betray me at any time. So I know there is a game going on. I know, and I'm playing the game, and I'm just gonna go and take advantage for my clients and do what I can for my clients. And then when it's my turn, I'm just gonna take it.
Exactly. Like, and at the same time, you can turn on her, it can
Yeah.
go both ways. But yeah, that's definitely a very interesting alliance because, like you said, she kind of doesn't give you that vibe that she would have a manager because, like, she says she's kind of like a rebel, kind of, and all that kind of stuff. But I dig it. I like it a lot, honestly. So I want to talk to you about your future. Like, what are some of your future goals in the business, whether it's with WoW or just in general, like in the wrestling business?
To expand, to keep being like, inspiration for others. I really like to talk to the fans. I like, to answer that, but I take forever like to answer. I'm sorry, but you know this because I'm like, I read them, but then it's like, oh, I need to answer, but I want to take the time to answer. And I'm so busy that then it's like 1 week later, hi, how are you? But I do answer. It's like no, it's nobody else. You know what I mean? Some people they have somebody else managing their Instagrams or their social media. So I want to expand. I wanna tell people same thing that there is no impossible. That everything is possible as long as you pursue it. As long as you are perseverant. If you don't quit, sooner or later it's gonna happen. Sooner or later, and that's why with wow, even I was like chicken out and be like so scared. It's like, but that's not me. I'm not gonna quit. I need to find another way to stay here and be part of it. And for me, that's a good example that guys, I have my accent. I'm from Mexico. Like, I was a mom. I'm old already. I could be like the grandma for wrestling. So it's like, and I'm there. Why? Because I didn't quit. I didn't quit no matter what. So I like that because first it's an example for my kids, for my family, for myself, and for all those fans. I have some fans that they have some disabilities, and it's great because when you see the wrestlers, you feel you are like they're fighting for you. You are there, but they're the ones doing the moves, and it's great because then you can rely in that character to do the fighting, and that's what I want to keep inspiring people. So I want to expand in the business.
Okay, yeah, I think you definitely got a lot of potential, honestly, and I can see that happening. And I think, like, as far as like WoW, like the more success WoW has, that helps everyone out, including yourself in the company. I know it did start out as like an internet, thing, and now it's actually on TV. So I mean, WoW's growing and it's been gaining attention. Like it gained my attention. It's gonna continue to grow, and I'm definitely excited to see like what happens with you and the company. But I mean, I definitely can relate to, because like with my podcast, for example, there were plenty of times where I felt like giving up. Like I have a huge passion for wrestling, and I was really excited to do this. And of course, just like most people, you don't get many views at first and all that kind of stuff. But I never gave up. I kept pushing. I kept pushing. And I did a lot of research on how to like gain more followers and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, now look at me. I got someone from Women of Wrestling, yourself, that's
Thank
on my
you.
podcast. So I mean, it's definitely very inspiring for me to have someone like you on the show, and just like and every little thing helps. And also, I mean, like this is extremely appreciative, for you to do this. So I definitely thank you again for this
No, thank
opportunity
you.
to
No,
interview you.
no, thank you. And I always say, since I'm the greatest attorney in the world, I have friends in high places. And now you just become one of my friends. So,
Thank you. Well, I do think that wraps up our episode today. So, like, once again, I definitely appreciate having the greatest attorney in the world, Sophia Lopez, on the show.
yeah, so guys, don't miss it. Right now, we're every Saturday on Access TV and my social media on Twitter. I'm like WOWE_Sophia with a PH. I say that for the Hispanic community because if not, we just do the F. And then in Instagram, I'm under WOW_Sophia Lopez. And my other personal is Leslie GC12 Instagram. And just keep following us because we have so many surprises. Everything changes. Every episode is different. One of the things that I would like is more storytelling, and hopefully we get it later. But you guys gonna love it. We have all the drama, all the twists. We have all these super girls that are, athletic acrobats. They are just amazing. And every Saturday, Access TV, it's at 8 Eastern Time, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific Time.
Yep, everyone, just like she said, definitely check out WoW. It's on every Saturday. If you're a fan of women wrestling, definitely check it out. I mean, you can also look for it on demand if you can't stay up that late or whatever. Also on the website too, you can watch some of the old episodes as well. So definitely check that out, and definitely follow Sophia Lopez on social media too. She's very engaging, a really sweet person. So definitely fun to talk to.
Yes, guys, don't miss it. No, JT, thank you very much. I'm so glad you're doing this. Never quit. And yeah, later on, I'll get you my client Serpentine, which she's known on the wrestling business as Thunder Rosa. And she's doing amazing things. She's just kicking it. She is the whole package. She's amazing. And later on, you'll have her.
All right, thank you so much. I definitely really am excited and looking forward to that.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again for tuning into O Face Wrestling. We'll see you next week.